Ladies and gentlemen, you got me? Ladies and gentlemen, this is your 2-minute warning. We're going to begin our commencement in 2 minutes, so please get a drink and find your seat. Is that loud enough? Okay. Okay. You still have 1 minute and 45 seconds. Just saying. No clown shirt? No clown shirt? Good afternoon, everyone. Really? One person? Good afternoon, everyone. That's the kind of attitude we expect at the 2019 Executive Master of Business Administration graduation ceremony. Dean Mosier, do you have the applause sign? Because we're going to probably have to hold that up every once. They're learning as they go. My name is Jim McClenahan. I'm the Director of Corporate Relations, and I'm proud to be your Master of Ceremonies today. I also teach marketing in our Executive MBA, and I'm very proud to be joined by my colleagues, the faculty of the Executive MBA. Will you please stand up and be recognized? Thank you, and thank you for all you do for our students. To kick off our graduation, I'd like to welcome to the podium the Executive Vice President and Provost of the University of Nevada, Reno, Kevin Carman.
Thank you, Jim. It's a privilege to be here. This is kind of an annual rite of passage for me. I'm in my 7th year here at the University of Nevada, Reno, and it's just so happened that in the first year that I was here in the summer of 2013 was the first graduation ceremony. The first cohort of executive MBA students were graduating, and so I've just sort of forced my way in and insisted on being part of this ceremony every year, and they're gracious enough to allow me to say a few words. I will say at the beginning here that I'm going to, after I give my remarks, with apologies, I'm going to need to take off and tend to other things going on campus. We have 2,700 freshmen showing up today. That's out of 3,500 total that we're expecting, and they're coming on campus for an academic orientation program to get ready to be successful at the university. A big part of that is BizFit. Business College of Business has a big component of this. But I do want to thank you. I want to welcome you and the families. I'm always so impressed that so many people show up for this commencement ceremony. I remember the first year that when they asked me to do this, to speak at the commencement ceremony for the online executive MBA program, I imagined myself coming into an empty room with maybe a screen or something where some people were zooming in, because that must be the way that you interact. But in fact, I suspect that many of you are meeting each other in person for the first time, are meeting your professors that you've worked with over the years for the first time. But you're here, and I think it speaks volumes to the type of community that develops when you go through a program like this. You come, as I understand, you're coming from Arizona, Nevada, Oregon, and at least one person from Maryland. Is the Maryland person here? That would have been really impressive, right, to come out for the where? Florida? All right, Florida. I missed Florida. All right. I spent many years in Florida, so Tallahassee was where I came from. But you're here. Your families are here. I see lots of young ones that are here with you, and I know that what that represents is as you've gone through this program, it's been a tremendous investment of your time and energy while you've carried on with your profession, which is extremely varied, an extraordinary array of disciplines that you come from. 10 of you already have advanced degrees, and so apparently you're just needing to get more and more advanced degrees. But this is one that's going to really, I think, help propel you in your business and your success in life. So I hope that you find this to have been a rewarding experience and that it delivers to you what you need to achieve the goals, which again are so varied for each of you, given your diverse aspirations. But I do know that your families who are here have gone through this with you, and they've had to probably do some extra work to help you get through it. Maybe you were not able to spend as much time with them as you would have liked to, and so I'd like you to give your families a round of applause for all that they've done to support you. So. But I want to conclude by saying that I really am very proud of what you've accomplished, and honestly a bit envious. I don't know if I would have the discipline that you have had to continue on with your professions, with your careers, while making your way through what I know is a demanding but hopefully rewarding executive MBA program. But I will conclude by saying that you are here and you are part of the University of Nevada, Reno family, and I hope that you feel that way. I hope that you will feel that way going forward, that you will always be a member of UNR and part of the Wolf Pack, and we're very proud of that family. I hope you stay associated with us. I wish you all the best in your career aspirations and your personal lives, and we hope that you send some of these young ones on to UNR when it's time for them to seek higher education on their own part. So congratulations, and go Pack. I forgot one thing, and I don't know how I forgot that, but there's an individual that I want to point out, and that is Dr. Kambiz Rafi. He is I think all of you know who he is. He is the person that had this brainchild several years ago, and he is the person that has been the passion behind its existence, and has continued to grow and thrive. He's the reason why it is nationally ranked and continued to be nationally ranked. So if you would join me in thanking Kambiz for all that he's done for all of us. Thank you, Kambiz.
Please welcome to provide the opening remarks for graduation, the Dean of the College of Business, Greg Mosier.
Thank you, Jim. I was commenting to Jim before we started that I see in the program it says commencement address, and I was like, there's no address here. This is going to be kind of some short remarks, because really the feature for today is the fact that we have some incredible graduates who are receiving their MBA program through the University of Nevada, Reno. So we do want to get to that as quickly as we can. On this occasion, it really does give me great pleasure to acknowledge that based upon the accomplishment of our students, the support that I see here in this room from their families and their friends, that I really feel positive about what the future looks like for all of us in the United States and the world. You're incredible people, you do incredible things, you do the types of stuff to build communities that we all need to have at this time in our world. So I have high optimism for the future based upon your accomplishments. I do have two main things that I want to talk to you a little bit about. One of them is a thing I generally go through, and that is to give you a little bit of a history of the background of the degree you're about to receive, so that you understand that it comes really from quite a long-term development, if you will, in the United States around business education. And so it'll give you something to be aware of. And so there's little bragging rights that come with this about our own College of Business here at the University of Nevada. And then, of course, being a professor, I can't really resist the temptation to, give you some hints or tips to take away with you. But I promise you, I've limited it to 4, and they're all validated by people much smarter than me. So I'll do those 4 observations and then give you some verification of all that. Before I get started, I do want to acknowledge our faculty who are here, who have taught many of your classes. They're outstanding in terms of what their dedication to this particular program is. So let's give them all a round of applause. So a little bit of history of business and the higher education study of business in the United States. Well, one thing you can start with is in the year 1900, what is now the Tuck School of Business was started at Dartmouth College. Okay, now Dartmouth University. That was really the beginning of the graduate study of business, but it wasn't an MBA. When it started at Tuck School, what is now the Tuck School, it was really more of what you see a lot of the specialty master's programs. And at the time, in 1900, you would find a plethora of degrees that were called Masters of Science in Commerce. So we always taught business as commerce rather than as business, and a bigger breadth that comes with the business designation. So that's the first graduate study. But there were things before that, if you want to, and after that as well, obviously. So one MBA program, and the very first one that was created in the United States, was, as you can probably guess, the MBA program at Harvard. They started that particular program in 1908. Okay, so a little bit later, right, 1900, 1908. Now, as I'm telling you all this, I want you to keep remembering the University of Nevada was founded in 1874, right? This university has been first in Elko and then moved to Reno beginning in 1874. So as you look at degree programs, master's programs in 1900, starting at Dartmouth, 1908, MBA programs at Harvard, what does that fit in with all the other kinds of programs we might have? The EMBA program that you all are going to be conferred with, actually the first one of that was in 1943. Okay, so still quite some time ago when you had that kind of graduate education in business, and that took place, and the first one was at the University of Chicago, which is now known as the Booth School of Business. So, I got some superlatives in there, right, as you're starting to think about it. It's Chicago, it's Dartmouth, it's Harvard, right, where you see all these degree programs. In 1887, when the university moved from Elko to Reno, okay, so 1887, so predating all of those things, we had a 2-year school of business that came into the university at that time at the very opening of the doors, beginning to teach business in 1887 at the University of Nevada, Reno campus. And at the time, in 1887, it had the largest enrollment of any academic study on campus. Okay, that's a 2-year program that was part of all that then. However, in 1900, now remember 1900 is when you began to see the first graduate degree in business that was at Dartmouth. we became only the second school in the United States west of the Mississippi to establish a 4-year degree in commerce. Okay, that's your 4-year degree, your bachelor's degree in commerce that was being offered at that particular point in time. And the only 3 other schools in the entire United States that were offering that 4-year degree in commerce in 1900 were University of Pennsylvania, Chicago, and Berkeley, Cal Berkeley. So those were the 3 others. So University of Nevada has always been in some pretty big company relative to how we proceed with the study of business. And so that's why we're so pleased with our EMBA program and the thing that has been developed, again, with the great work that Camby's has been able to do. And we think we belong in some pretty good stature there with regard to all the other people who have been part of the evolution of business programs. That's a little bit of the background. Your program actually started in 2013. Okay, so you represent our 6th graduating class that we've had through this program, and it continues to garner accolades from all of the various people who rank business programs and acknowledge the quality of our faculty and the quality of our students coming into that program. So that's my history lesson for you a little bit today. I think it's kind of interesting to note. I mean, that's not a bad thing to roll off the tongue. One of only 4 universities with 4-year degrees in commerce. That includes Berkeley and Penn and Chicago. But let's talk a little bit about some takeaways, trying to not avoid the obligation of a professor. So I'm going to boil it down to 4 things that I want to tell you a little bit about and just to ponder as you kind of go through all this. The first thing I want to emphasize to you, and I think we all know this is something that takes place in the modern world, but this is not the end, right? This is really, that's why we call it commencement, right? You're just starting. And you have to continue to learn because things are going to change constantly for you. We've helped provide you a skill set around the disciplines that we teach that are very important and help you understand business, but you always need to be looking out there for more breadth of your curiosity about what's going on in the world. Now, I actually wanted to borrow something from Hermann Hesse, who wrote the book Siddhartha, and many of you may have read Siddhartha. Hermann Hesse was a German author who wrote that book and has some great lines in there about how to think about what's going on in life. And I think one of the things I want to emphasize about when I say continue to learn is don't regard the knowledge that you possess as wisdom. 2 totally separate things, right? Wisdom and knowledge are 2 separate things. We like to think as a professional program that we try to impart both of those upon you, but the thing that you got to remember is wisdom cannot be imparted. That's what Hermann Hesse says in Siddhartha. He says wisdom cannot be imparted. Wisdom that a wise man attempts to impart always sounds like foolishness to someone else. And I think many of us have been in that point, right? Trying to explain to somebody what really is based upon wisdom but not knowledge. You got to gain it yourself. It's a long process. You got to use the knowledge you have, and you have to interact with other people to gain wisdom. He continued, said, knowledge can be communicated, but not wisdom. One can find it, live it, do wonders through it, but one cannot communicate and teach it. So when I tell you to continue to learn, and this is just commencement, you're going to have a lifelong process of trying to attain wisdom. Okay? I think one of the best ways to do that is to continue the interactions that you have with your family and your friends and your cohort and all the people that you know, and build strong communities. And do that for the goal of trying to build wisdom. Second thing that I want to kind of point out to you, and this is always personal to me because I remember doing this as a kid, and it is set your goals now. And set them for what you want to achieve in like a 3 and 5 and 10-year time frame. Doesn't mean it has to be locked in stone. But, if you don't have a goal set out now, you become a little bit like what the Scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz does when he's talking to Dorothy. He says she doesn't know where she wants to go. And he points, well, you can go that way or you can go that way then, because it doesn't really matter. if you don't have a goal in mind. I think setting a goal is personal to me because I still remember, and this was the most annoying thing we ever did on New Year's Day in my house growing up. My father would sit around, there were 5 kids in my family, and my father would always, even when we were like 5 years old, would on New Year's Day at dinner, we would have to sit around and go around the table and give our like 5 and 10-year goals. Where did we think we were going? What did we think we were going? I mean, imagine a 5-year-old sitting there going, I don't know, I just want to get out of here. I don't even want to say any of this stuff. But at the end of the day, it's incredibly helpful to sit down and articulate your goals to other people, right? Think about what they are. Where do you really want to be? And what does it have to do with? It doesn't have to do with financing. It doesn't have to do with career. It could be about personal or family or all kinds of other things. But if you don't know where you're going, then it's like the Scarecrow and the Wizard of Oz. Doesn't matter, right? So try and set goals early, and I think it'll really help you out on things. Now, in order to verify that a little bit, it was something better than Scarecrow and the Wizard of Oz, I wanted to rely upon Marcus Aurelius. Many of you may know Marcus Aurelius is the Roman emperor that's known as one of the great Stoic philosophers. Probably his most well-known book is Meditations, or just observations that he made about life as he was off campaigning and expanding the borders of the Roman Empire. But he said, and bear with me, it's a little bit lengthy, but I think it really does have some really great ideas that you need to focus upon. And that is, he said, if a thing is humanly possible, consider it within your reach. So if it's humanly possible, you should consider it within your reach as you set your goals. Concentrate on what you have to do. Fix your eyes on it. Remind yourself that your task is to be a good human being. Remind yourself what nature demands of people. Then do it without hesitation and speak the truth as you see it, but with kindness, with humility, without hypocrisy. Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself and your way of thinking. So consider that as you set your goals, right? What are those goals going to be, and how is it going to lead me to a happy life? And how am I going to be this person with kindness and humility as I go forward? My third thing, so right, if you're counting down, we're close. We're halfway through my four tips. The third thing I would just point out to you, and I'm just going to tell you, I think this is valuable for anybody to think about, but keep an open mind. It's one of those life unexamined really isn't worth living, right? You really need to keep an open mind. Don't be so sure you know everything that's going on. Talk to other people. Talk to people who aren't like you. Talk to people who have different opinions than you do. Try to understand the perspective that other people bring to issues as you go forward. And that examination of ideas and facts, I think, will serve you in good stead as you go forward. I think one of the best ways to do that is if you adopt kind of a notion of neutral self-awareness, right? Neutral self-awareness. Marcus Aurelius, again, once said, he talked about the idea that almost all your problems are really in your mind. It's how you react to external stimuli that really create your problems. So have some neutral self-awareness as you move forward. And finally, just to emphasize again a little bit what was said earlier, I always encourage everybody to practice humility. I mean, you've been very successful, all of you, in your careers. You're very successful by getting through this program. But you don't need to wear that on your sleeve, where it's like, here I am, look at me. Practicing humility around other people is really, I think, a characteristic that more of us could learn from. And again, somebody who's much smarter than me that has said very much the same thing, Albert Einstein. And many of you know the famous quote by Albert Einstein where he said, "Try not to become a person of success, but rather try to become a person of value." Okay, so think about what you do that provides value. And we all know where that value can be. Doesn't mean you have to be the CEO of the company. Hope you are. Hope you make it that way. But Be a good parent. Be a good spouse. Be a good friend. Those kinds of things can really make you a person of value as you go forward. In conclusion, I'd just like to say how proud we are of all of you. It really matters to us, your success, what you do, what you go out, and how you live your life. We want you to stay connected with us. We want to hear about all the things you do, okay? Because you make us better. So I will just follow up on what Kevin Carmen said, and I'll say go Pack. Thank you.
Our next speaker is our student speaker. We're very proud to have one of our own graduates come up and deliver a student address. She's assured me it's between an hour and a half. No pressure, Jackie. Please welcome to the podium Jacqueline Burrow.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for indulging me for a few minutes. Congratulations to all of you. I'm super excited to be here. This day is one that I've been looking forward to for about 2 years, so here we are. It's a good day. So it's probably been about 4 months since Dr. Raffi reached out to me and asked if I would be willing to address all of you today. And my immediate reaction was, of course, I would love to. How exciting. And then I actually sat down and tried to put my thoughts into words, and I had a really hard time articulating what it was that I wanted to say. So he had asked me to kind of provide a reflection on our coursework over the last 6 semesters. And, you know, in thinking back, we learned a lot, obviously, but, you know, what am I supposed to say? So even though I had 4 months, I probably wrote this speech in the last 3 weeks, because it finally came to me one day. I have a 4-year-old who's over there, and I pick her up from school every day, and I always ask her the same 3 questions. So the first thing that I always ask her is, how was your day? Of course, right? And she's 4, so it's always good or great or fun or whatever. And then I ask her, well, what did you do today? And it's usually something about the playground or her snack or, you know, 4-year-old stuff. And then I say, well, what did you learn? No idea. She never has anything to provide for what she learned that day. And I always kind of laugh to myself, and I drive away and I take her home and make her lunch. And I'm like, well, you know, I guess we're getting our money's worth at preschool, so that's good. But I can say with certainty that the little person that I dropped off on the first day of school and the little girl that I picked up on the last day of school are not the same person. She's grown and matured, and she's learned a lot about sharing and compassion and, you know, the things that you learn in preschool. So when I started thinking about what I wanted to say to you all today, in a broader context, like the way that I see my child growing, it came to me, and it was very apparent that there were some commonalities and a theme that kind of resonated from one semester to the next in everything that we were learning. And what I believe best describes that is the concept of being morally virtuous. So what does that look like? It's been a long time since I took core humanities here at UNR, 15 or so short years ago. So I kind of went back and I started reading some Aristotle and just thinking about, you know, what are the most important things that kind of apply to everything that we've learned. And as Dean Mosier said, it's in moving forward, this is the very beginning of what, you know, we're all anticipating for our lives, right? This is a starting off point for where we're headed. So what do we need to keep in mind as we proceed in our lives? And I think that the best, I guess, summation of what I could come up with were the concepts of prudence, justice, temperance, and fortitude. So it's kind of an all-encompassing lesson, right? So when we think back to what we've learned about business, what does that look like? What do those virtues look like? And to me, it looks like encouraging each other to be successful and taking care of our peers, ourselves, our communities, respecting and learning to appreciate other cultures. It looks like reporting and representing ourselves, our products, and our finances in an honest and responsible manner. And it looks like doing more with less. So what that looks like going forward for future generations, and we don't want to sacrifice the quality of tomorrow for future generations for our perceived needs today. And it looks like finding the grit and the tenacity to get up every day and to go out and do what's right, not necessarily what's easy. We all sit here today and we have a tremendous opportunity to study and work and live in a place where we have boundless opportunities. We have the opportunity to provide for ourselves, for our community, for our families, and we have that opportunity that a lot around the globe will never have in their lifetime. So don't take that opportunity for granted. During my boundless hunt for things to tweet about last semester, which I'm sure you could all appreciate, like who knew it would take so long, I stumbled upon a blog that is a military leadership blog, and it's managed by someone named Joe Byerly. And ironically enough, I have a Marcus Aurelius quote also that I kind of gleaned from one of his blog posts. And I would like to share that with you all today. For even sheep do not vomit up the grass to show the shepherds how much they have eaten. But when they have internally digested the pasture, they produce externally wool and milk. Do you also show not your theorems to the uninstructed, but show the acts which come from their digestion? So that's a little rough, but what does that mean, right? Sorry, I said vomit. Thought that might go over a little weird, but here we are. Now we all have to deal with it. So what that means to me is that we each leave here today with a responsibility to our communities and to each other to use the knowledge that we have picked up along the way throughout this program for a greater good. So do not simply regurgitate the facts that we've learned to the people that you have the privilege to lead, but use the information and the knowledge and the wisdom that you've developed over time to change people's lives. I urge you to not take this opportunity for granted. Our freedoms to do so have come with great sacrifice, and in a time when it may seem to a lot of us that our country is gravely divided, I'm happy to report that we can all take this opportunity to change our own minds. So I think that we have a responsibility to pave the way for generations to follow, and we do that by teaching kindness instead of conflict, and communication instead of condemnation. And when you have the opportunity to promote divisive thought or to be a unifying force, choose to be a unifying force. If you have the opportunity to be a giver or a taker, be a giver. Unless you're in Dr. Sindali's class, because those 2 points might be the difference between an A- and a B+. So thank you all for that. Thanks a lot. So I could go on and on about the specific things that we've learned, but I will sum it up by saying, proceed virtuously, do the right thing for the right reason at the right time for the right people. Carry with you the lessons that we've learned, be generous in sharing the knowledge that you've developed, and do the right thing. Go Pack.
Thank you very much, Jackie. I can't believe that everyone so far has quoted Marcus Aurelius. I do not have a Marcus Aurelius quote. I will work on that for next year. Cambies, you should probably get one before we're done. Next year. It is now, this is the best part of the whole ceremony. Even better than Dr. Sindali's class getting mentioned in the student speech. This is it. This is the best part. This is where we confer your diplomas to you. So are my colleagues from 365 Learning ready on the diplomas? They're walking very slowly. Give them a round of applause for all that they do. And now you can see how much we prepare for this. Greg, Cambyse, you guys will be right here. Take the pictures. Greg will get the diplomas. Perfect. We're ready. Are you ready? Then, please welcome Alexander Otto Atiemo. That saunter was classic. Very good. Congratulations. All right, for all the other families, the bar has been set very high. So we expect a similar amount of energy. Please join me in congratulating Thomas Bialazar. Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, close enough.
And please welcome back your student speaker, Jacqueline Burrow. Congratulations. Gabriel Casaro.
I know. Thank you, sir.
Please join me in congratulating Michael Dittenber. Are you ready? Okay. Please congratulate Joseph Doucette. What's that? Now, I'd say we did this intentionally just to build the drama for David, but we did not. Please join me in congratulating David Chung. Please welcome Miguel Luis Flores. Please congratulate Troy Fontana. Please congratulate Peru Gukashin. If there was any student in this class that would want me to pause for dramatic effect, it's our next student. Please welcome Roy Hemingway. Please congratulate Maggie Marcus. Alexander, your family still holds the title. I just want you to know that. Please congratulate Sarah McCrae Dameron. I'm very proud to congratulate Herbert Alessandro Melendez. I'm going to call that a tie. Please congratulate Jeremy Peterson.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Our next graduate is Adrian Reynolds. Congratulations. Please congratulate Nancy Marisol Rodriguez. Please congratulate Joy Angela Royston. Please congratulate Sabrina Sino. Congratulations. Please congratulate Keshab Simkata. You gave me the pronunciation. Please congratulate Cassandra Stalkey. Congratulations. And please congratulate our final student here with us today, Francisco Vega. Congratulations, Francisco. I mentioned just a minute ago that Francisco is our last student with us today. We have a number of students that can't join us today that I'd like to acknowledge because hopefully they're watching on the live stream. So I will read all of their names, and if you would just erupt with thunderous applause so they can hear you all the way through the internet, that would be great. Katie Bailey. Carolyn Lee. That was pretty good. Have we broken the internet yet? We still? Okay. Amber Ogle. Felipe Adolfo Salamanca Candia. It's still working? You guys got to try harder. Marissa Sylvester Stegman. All right, this is your last chance to break the internet. Abalash Yeleni. Great work, you broke the internet. So anyone shopping on Amazon, we apologize. Please give another round of applause to all of our graduates. And now to deliver our closing remarks, please welcome the Associate Dean of the Graduate Program at the College of Business, the MBA Program Director, Kambiz Rafi.
Are we having fun yet? Folks, I have to share with you, there are so many of these occasions throughout the year as related to academic programs celebrating the success of our students but I have to truly share with you, this is my most favorite one, the EMBA commencement reception. Thank you. Let me start by congratulating the students of the 2019 EMBA graduating class. We are so proud of what you have done for the past 2 years. My special thanks to the Provost Kevin Carmen, Dean Greg Mosier, faculty, staff, family members, relatives, and friends of our students who are here today. My special thanks also to Jacqueline. I hope I did not put extra pressure on you for the past 4 months since I asked you to deliver the commencement speech on behalf of your classmates. You did a great and thoughtful job. Thank you. My special thanks also to family members of our students for what you have done, the sacrifice you have made. Our students, I'm pretty sure, feel the same way. You have made it possible for them to be here today. Thank you. Thanks to the EMBA faculty who are here. These folks do a great job in classes that they teach, and these are among some of the best faculty of the College of Business. Thanks for all you do for UNR Online EMBA. Thanks to Greg for all his support for the graduate programs of the college. Folks, I don't know if some of you may have heard about this. When Greg and I started the conversation back in 2009 about the possibility of starting the EMBA program, an online EMBA program, we pretty much got some pushback from a number of folks saying, hey, this is not the good time. But in life, as I'm sure you are probably have learned this throughout the classes in the program, there is no such a thing as a bad time or good time for a good idea. It's always about not to take anything for granted. That pretty much has made it possible today for having you all here in the 7th graduating class of the UNR Online EMBA. I hate to say this basically, but you know what? One of my favorite slogans is what Nike says, just do it. I do not know who came up with this slogan, but whomever did, good for Nike. It makes a lot of sense. My message is simply again, as you are graduating from the program today, you know what? Do not be afraid of doing what basically you would like to do. Do not be afraid of taking chances in what you want to do. That's after all, in life, no, there is no such a thing as having a red carpet, blue sky. There is no such a thing. It's always about hard work, and creating what I call the trust with whomever you are going to be working for. The students of the graduating class today has an impeccable record of professional and academic accomplishments. The average work experience of the students of the graduating class today is 12 years. Almost about half of them have advanced academic and professional degrees. That tradition of excellence, I have to say, has been the driver for what we do in the program, thanks to students, faculty, and the support of leadership of the college. This leads me to share with you some brief remarks regarding the upcoming 2019 EMBA cohort. We have 37 students in the latest cohort of the program. Their average work experience happens to also be 12 years. I do not know how did that happen, matching the average work experience of the graduating class today. Almost half of those students, again, just like yourselves, have advanced professional and academic degrees, including 6 MDs and 2 PhD. One other remark I would like to make as part of the graduating class today, one of my favorite lines is to ask the question, what does letter E in EMBA stand for? Clearly, in addition to the obvious choice, which is Executive MBA, would be something that comes to our mind all the time. But for me, for the graduating class today, letter E stands for energy, enthusiasm, and endurance. You guys got to be proud of what you have done. My special thanks to the staff of UNR 365 Learning for the job that they do helping and supporting the UNR online executive MBA program. Today we have Shannon Brown and Erin Aldrich, and I have to tell you, Erin probably can share with you in separate away from those wave of emails that I send her every day, but she does an incredible job for the program. Thank you, Erin. In closing, to our students in the graduating class today, you are now forever an alumni of the UNR College of Business. Please keep in touch and go Wolfpack.
We just have a few announcements before we wrap up the ceremony. We're going to gather up here for a group photo. Lee is going to give us some direction. We're going to get it done in about 2 minutes. So as soon as we're done, we'll have all the graduates come up for a group photo. We have boxes for your diplomas if you'd like boxes to gather them up. We also have a commemorative mug and shirt at the table by the stage. If you'd like, we can have 8x12 photos of Dean Mosier and Camby's autograph for you. We can arrange for that too. They're $7 a piece. And of course, most importantly, we'd like to thank everyone for coming today. And please join us after we're done in all the refreshments that we have. Without your support, our graduates wouldn't be where they are today. So please give everyone a round of applause for coming today. And please join me in a standing ovation for our graduates as we end the ceremony today. That was the most enthusiastic standing ovation we've ever had, so thank you. For our graduates, we have an EMBA mixer on September 27th. Erin will email you. We would love to see you all there. Thank you all very much, and good night. What? Group photo. They're coming. Group photo. Come on up. Your call. Leave your diploma at your chair and then come on up. Lee is organizing them in their group photo. Come on up. Well done. I was close. Did I nail it? Yeah. Okay, I was reading it. I was stressing. Gabriel. We're gonna listen to Lee.
I suppose the power
David,
is going to
I am
back.
so sorry. I was like, it was. I was just, you know, I paid attention.
I don't know. It does not seem like a big enough.
Paul, Gabriel, and I get down here, so you can prop your feet up. All right.
What's happening?
That's right.